Comrades, fighters for freedom, for sovereignty and real independence. Hello. Let us give thanks to God who allowed this day to take place, and that we can meet again in this pool of the Palace of Sports to talk about the future of our country. At the end of your decision on May 25th to entrust us with the destiny of our country for 5 more years, be happy. Thank you. We do not see this as a mandate, but we have understood it as a message that has been passed to us, and the message has been very well received, and we will do everything to always deserve your trust. Allow me also to pay a vibrant tribute to all these forces of defense, these forces of internal security, our voluntary guardians, for the defense of the country and all these populations who live in these areas at the risk of security and who stand up. We pay tribute to them and we say thank you for all the sacrifices made for our country. I ask you that we can observe a minute of silence to honor the memory of all those who lost their lives in this fight. May the souls of the dead rest in peace, and may the wounded find good healing. Comrades, the emotion is great, certainly. But allow me to articulate my words in 3 phases. The first phase will concern the stage from which I will explain to you how we see this world. The second phase will explain to you why we must continue to fight. And the most important stage will be to give you a summary of our vision for the future, if I may put it this way.
Durant ces 20 et quelques mois passés donc à la tête de l'État,
during these 20-some months, we have met several politicians from all over the world. We met hundreds of diplomats from all over the world. We met businessmen from all over the world. We have been open to all these exchanges, to all these discussions, to be able to learn from the world, to be able to understand the world. And today I think this is a great opportunity for me to explain to you the conclusion we have drawn from all these meetings we have had with politicians from all over the world, diplomats from all over the world. It is very important, the conclusion we have drawn, and it must allow you to understand the world. Because often in our countries, we do not have this perspective of being able to have access to certain people who will teach you many things through their behavior, through their words, and also by telling you how they see us. Comrades, God created the world with all that there is, like happiness, like misfortune, like good, like evil, humans, geniuses, animals, and everything that goes with it. But we humans have decided to make the world something else. The imperialists have a vision of the world that I am going to explain to you.
Le monde se résume en un triangle pour eux.
The world is summed up in a triangle for them. You will see the triangle in most of their signs. Maybe you don't understand, but the world is summed up in a triangle. For them, at the top of the triangle is the empire of good, and the empire of good is them. It is prosperity. It is all that is positive. It is them who have the right to all that is happiness in this world. It is them who have the right to all the riches. It is up to them to impose their way of seeing the world. It is up to them to impose their vision, their way of life. This is why during the colonization, or their conquest, I would say, they came to our lands and said that they had discovered our lands. Because for them, we are savages. We have nothing like them, in fact. So they called us indigenous people. And it is them, the people. They have all the rights. And for them, the world must work as they wish. It is simple. I will take a few examples. Look through their films. They have prepared the spirit of their people to make them understand that they are the best. It is them who must possess everything. You will not say the opposite. In all their films that they propagate, you will always find the bad guys. It is either the Russians or the South Americans or the blacks who play the bad role of drug traffickers, of proxies, of human traffickers. Until a recent past, of course, you will find the Arabs who play the role of terrorists. This is how they perceive the world. When I look at the economic aspect, who among us did not treat the Chinese products as bad products? But today, I can tell you that we are wrong, because China has a fairly advanced level of technology. And it is in China that most of these countries come to supply, put their mark on it, and resell us as their property. Look around you. Look at us. Our entrepreneurs who are in the BTP will not say the opposite. All their machines today are Chinese. Those who do transport will not say the opposite. They lied to us because we went around the world in these 20 months to look for companies, to look for factories, and we understood that everything came back there. But through their communication, they led us to hate all Chinese products and to make us understand that what is good came from them, not necessarily from elsewhere. It's simple. Let's go back in time. To better understand what I will say, we need to go back in time. And I hope that some will read who are the Tsars, the Mongol conquests, the Persian, Turkish, and Ottoman empires. Read their history. You will understand why the world is like this. At the base of the triangle, there are two empires. On one side, the empire of evil, according to them, and the empire of slaves on the other side. This is how they see the world. Who do they call the empire of evil? Those whom I have just mentioned. I told you to go back in time. Go and read. You will understand why they are the empire of evil in their eyes. They fight the empire of evil. For them, the empire of evil must disappear. For them, the empire of evil embodies the devil. They communicate and make their people understand this way. This is why after the Second World War, in the 1980s, I would take the case of Russia, where all the strategies were implemented to crush it with President Gorbachev. In the United States, it was President Ronald Reagan who was at the helm. Three main strategies have caught our attention. They went to Saudi Arabia and asked them to lower the price of oil from $35 to $7 to make the Russian economy collapse.
Le deuxième stratagème.
At the same time, the second strategy, AEEUR, don't forget something, AEEUR, is the same people who have just left Afghanistan claiming that they were fighting the Taliban. The Taliban were received by President Ronald Reagan at the White House. They were armed by the CIA. The famous Stinger missiles, the Sol-Air, were delivered to the Taliban to fight the Russians. Later, they came to fight them. Try to understand. The third strategy was a bluff. The IDS project, Star Wars. Read it. You will understand why. They led President Gorbachev to create the Palace Project, which crushed Russia. Once Russia collapsed, those who claimed to be from the Empire of Good began to juggle, until this team came along with Vladimir Putin to try to bring Russia back to the surface.
L'empire du mal, selon eux, a beaucoup souffert.
The empire of evil, according to them, suffered a lot. Look at Iran today. Look at all the possible sanctions. Look at how they qualify certain peoples. Through communication, they can lead you to hate a people or to love a people. They are very strong in communication, and they go through all possible channels. Look at the ongoing war. They invented everything for their own interest. And finally, the empire of slaves. According to them, it is Africa and certain peoples of South America. In their heads, as I said recently, Africa belongs to them. Our lands belong to them. The riches of Africa are for them. They cannot conceive that Africans can emancipate themselves, get their heads out of the water, and therefore want to keep their heads. And for that, they have put a cliché C in their heads. The African is easy to manipulate. He is only emotion. They will always find an African to fight against his brother. And it has always been like that. Through communication, they have led you to hate your own skin color. In our cultures and in many cultures in Burkina Faso, mourning is symbolized by the color blue. When a woman loses her husband, she wears blue clothes to mourn for a while. It is they who came to tell you that black symbolizes mourning, the devil, mediocrity, all that is bad. And unfortunately, we have swallowed it so much that when we are in mourning, we also wear black. We have to wake up. We have to wake up because this is the cliché that they have in their heads. They are the empire of good. Others are the empire of evil. And we are the empire of slaves. This is how imperialists see the world. You have to understand that. And here I am going to make a big deal at the place of some intellectuals who continue to want to preach for the imperialists. Do they ignore this part of history? I am not inventing anything. It has been declassified. You will find everything I said in the libraries or everywhere on the search engines. Have these intellectuals not read this? Do they not know the history of this world? Maybe it is by dishonesty or a few dollars that leads them to always preach for the imperialists. They have always preached to raise awareness of our people, our popular masses, so that they understand where they come from and how they are seen by the imperialists. Let's take the history of a few wars. You have followed the Iraq War, a big lie that has been invented, supposedly of possession of weapons of mass destruction. Some senators in the United States did everything to get evidence. They did not get it. Remember that several people resigned from the CIA after this war. Evidence has been invented everywhere. Occidental secret services helped them to fabricate evidence. We remember that Nigeria was accused of setting up a false convention to sell uranium to Iraq. It is the same process that they used to say that Nigeria was selling uranium to Iran. They have already seen it. They have pretexted this and have not had evidence. Even the United Nations found no tangible evidence of the presence of weapons of mass destruction. But they had their objective to destroy Iraq. They destroyed Iraq. They created the Islamic State to come and fight it. Understand the game. It only lasted too long. We have to wake up and understand all this so that we become aware of our situation and fight for our future.
Toutes ces guerres ont été inventées, passant par l'Irak.
All these wars have been invented through Iraq, Syria, Libya, and the Middle East for their own benefit, because no one can equal them. This is what we live in the Sahel through the terrorism that they have imposed, because they will always find black people who will get excited and take up arms against their black brothers. This is what we live and never leave this model. This is why they fight against their brothers. I wanted to make this little history so that you understand how imperialism sees our world. It is summarized in this little triangle. In this second phase, I have to explain why we have to fight. A little story. In 2015, in Tombouctou, when we met, I was in charge of the airport platform. In the patrol, we met individuals who were walking around. One of these individuals was a Manchurian. I made him understand that it was dangerous to walk around the base because they could be killed. He told me that he wanted to be killed. He wanted to die. I tried to understand their story. Why did the terrorists come to Tombouctou? One, the Manchurian who explained this to me. One evening, the terrorists came to his house. They wanted to rape his wife in front of him. He opposed it. They left. The next day we came to take him home. We took him to the public square. We accused him of theft. We cut his hand. We beat him. He left home. His 16-year-old son took care of his hand. They came back, they raped his wife, and took his son away. They continued to rape his wife for days until the woman committed suicide. They took his son away. He never found him again. He preferred to die. This is why he walks around with a gun pointed at him. It will please him. Others experienced the same fate. They were taken away from their homes because they refused that the terrorists touch their women or daughters. The next day we came to take them away. We took them to the public square. We beat them to death. After that, they went to do their dirty business. Many families were destroyed. These are criminals who are armed and who sow desolation in our countries. They do it in the name of no religion. Unfortunately, here in Burkina Faso, some villages have been compromised by these individuals. I speak as a cause. In 2022, I was searched with my unit in a village because they did not want us to stay there, because they had a good agreement with the terrorists. Those who listen to me know what we are talking about. Several other units are witnesses. Some villages have categorically that the FDS make noise because they have a good relationship with the terrorists. We made them understand that there is no possible alliance with these criminals because they decide to end the pact. When the pact was broken, they came back to the social networks to call for help. We went there. But it is to say that no matter what they come to tell you, no matter the possible flattery, no matter the pact you sign with them, the day they decide to end the pact, they will come to kill and end the pact. There is no possible alliance with the terrorists. There is no possible alliance with these criminals. There is no possible alliance today. We see a phenomenon, unfortunately, in our cities. Some people like to go from one court to another to make their wives of certain FDS and certain VDP understand that the families of certain people who fell for the country had a peaceful solution with the terrorists. We wanted to wage war, and that is why all this is happening. How can human beings, seeing all that is happening, understanding the world, have such words? Do not be mistaken. Either we fight them or they fight us. That's all. These people are hiding behind a semblance of dialogue or negotiation. They are going to drag you into the mud. That is the goal of imperialism, that the plague lasts, that it lasts in time, that your states are not structured, and that we continue to take advantage of your riches. The more it lasts, the more it arranges them. And unfortunately, these individuals who go from course to course play the game of the imperialists. If they lie to me, let them stop now. Because they will fight themselves. We have no choice but to fight, and we have opted for combat, and that is where we will be free, that we will be truly independent. To do this, we have taken care of diagnosing the deep problem of Burkina Faso. I admit that the problem is real and deep. Evil is there. We have diagnosed it, and we are discovering the system day by day. Many knots have been undone, but knots remain to be undone, because every day that God does, we discover certain practices. I can understand. For several decades, this system has been installed. It has become like a gene in our DNA. But we have to remove this gene from our DNA and be able to build a new Burkina Faso. That is why in the third phase of my speech, I am going to give guidelines in certain key areas. We will not give any details on our program, if we can put it that way. Because when the program is known in detail, they will anticipate, they will put obstacles in our way and prevent us from reaching our goals. But we can therefore sum up in a few words. Speaking of the field of defense and security, as you can see, we have opted for combat, and for that we have almost doubled the number of troops in our armed forces. We continue to recruit, and I think that recently recruitment has been launched on the side of officers and non-officers, and soon, in a few days, recruitment for at least 10,000 soldiers should be launched. We will continue to strengthen our troops in order to face the fact that wherever you are, despite the recruitment that has been done, there is always a need for soldiers. Everywhere in Burkina Faso, some villages continue to want military presence. So there is a need to continue to recruit and equip. And I can assure you that we are on this launch. Since January 2023, we have been able to launch a program of equipment. It's true, the world is crazy. There is war everywhere. No nation takes its equipment and sells it. We make it for you. What made these equipment last for almost 18 months? But the first ones started to come, as you have seen the last time, and the equipment will continue to come. Because we want the level of our army to reach a level never equaled in the sub-region. This equipment program will continue, and it's you, the actors of this program. Because since we fought, I can tell you these so-called friends of Burkina, who have been there for a long time, who suck our wealth, even a single cartridge of Kalashnikov we have not received from anyone to make our fight. It's you who pay, and we will continue to work with our people to be able to lead this fight. We have partners who have accepted to sell us equipment and who have even proposed to be able to deliver us strategic equipment and that we can pay in time. We thank them for this gesture. And we also say thank you to the people who understood the meaning of the fight, that we have to fight. If we don't fight, they will come looking for us at home, like in a chicken coop or in a sheepfold. Every morning they will choose who they want to go and execute on the public square to scare others, to go and cut hands or feet on the public square to scare others. This is their tactic. We are going to fight, and we will give ourselves the means to get there. If it happens tomorrow that we are stuck in a certain spear, we will still come to the people and ask for even more sacrifices to be able to reach the goal. Because despite your contributions, I told you earlier, some powers have refused to sell us equipment. They have blocked the equipment that we have bought in some countries because they have the license of some components. And these powers exploit minerals in Burkina Faso. I say it here loudly and solemnly. It will stop. We are going to withdraw exploitation permits. We will not allow this. We will not allow this. You cannot exploit our resources and refuse to sell us equipment, to block our equipment. We are not going to accept this. We are going to withdraw our exploitation permits, and we are going to exploit them ourselves. We are going to withdraw our exploitation permits and we are going to exploit them ourselves. And we are going to overcome this terrorism here in Burkina Faso and even in the EU. During a long period of time, we have spent time keeping an eye on a number of actors, but we have understood that the phenomenon is so profound. Corruption, bad governance in various administrations, lack of ethics persist. Some bodies have been put in place in the context of the fight against corruption, and recently some arrests have been made in the context of denunciations. The last act will be made before the end of this month. It is an organ that will have to sit in all ministries to self-seize certain dysfunctions, acts of corruption, and be able to act. And these organs will be ready, because we have a lot of big workers also in the administration, but they are often put in the shadows, because for a long time, they are the most corrupt, the most dishonest, who have been put in the light. It is they who benefit from all the advantages. And so I tell the workers to pay attention to these individuals who are losing their privileges. Because they will continue to manipulate you, to intoxicate you, and to send you into bad patches.
Et je dis donc aux travailleurs de faire attention à ces individus qui sont en train de perdre leur
Pay close attention to these individuals who are losing their privileges,
et de vous envoyer dans de mauvais pâturages.
because we will not allow a so-called elite that had been programmed to take up all the rights in our different administrations.
Une soi-disant élite donc qui avait été
The
programmée.
last organ will be put in place before the end of this month, and real work will begin.
Les derniers organes seront mis en place.
You will hear a little bit everywhere at the end of this that we do not respect certain texts. We do not respect certain laws. But there are no laws or texts that stand in the struggle when it is for the interest of the country. Let them stand up and say we will go in this direction. We have adopted a line of conduct. We are making a diagnosis, verifying the presence and seeing the needs. It is not excluded that during the year some contests are launched to increase the number of employees in certain places. Of course, there was a wave of contests that were launched, but in all areas they are making the point that if there is a need, we will continue to recruit to be at an acceptable level and to be able to operate the different organs of the country for the happiness of the masses. In the field of diplomacy, we have opted for a common diplomacy in the AES. All decisions regarding partners, whether African or foreign, will be taken unanimously within the AES. But we have also opted for a diplomacy of truth. We do not intend to put ourselves in certain logics, to lie, or to cover reality. Saying that it is diplomacy, it is false. It is not diplomacy. I can tell you that what you see as a superstructure when people come to the audience and come out to speak is only a visible part of the iceberg. What happened inside, in the windows, has nothing to do with diplomacy. We are therefore inscribed in this logic to say things clearly to the people. Some will criticize us. Others will even say that a head of state should not speak like that. A head of state should not do that. But we tell them that maybe these people who criticize in this way when we speak the truth. Maybe they have a school where they have learned how to be a head of state, how a head of state should be. Otherwise, I have not yet seen the school. Why do we necessarily have to do like others? We want to create our model, our identity. I think that Burkina Faso, by definition, is the whole man. We want the truth. And when the truth comes out, even if we have made a mistake, we must have the courage to come and tell you on which side we have made a mistake. We ask for forgiveness. If you forgive us, you forgive us. We no longer want to be inscribed in this false diplomacy. In an interview, when I spoke to you about the Ivorian regime, some Burkinabés climbed on their horses and criticized. I say it, I insist, and I persist. We have nothing against the Ivorian people, but we have something with those who rule the Ivory Coast. We say it, and we repeat it again. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. In Abidjan, there is a center of operations to destabilize our country. No one can deny it, and we will prove it to you in the coming days. We will show you physical evidence. You will understand what we are talking about. No one will come and tell us that in Benin, there is no French base directed against us. We have the evidence in our hands. 2 important bases. No one can deny it, and I challenge it. We have nothing against the Benin people. We have a problem with the policy of the Benin leaders. We say it again. We say it again. In this diplomacy, we have decided to tell the truth. There are 2 bases, one to Kandy and the other to Porga, or I don't know which locality. Tracks have been redeveloped to more than 3,000 meters long. Planes land. People train and train terrorists there. We have audio recordings of French agents in Benin who play the center of terrorist operations. They carry out operations with them. They help them heal. They do everything there. We have all the details about them. And you don't want us to tell our people? We will say it. If you don't want it, if they don't want it, let them stop behaving like this. It's simple. We have not forced anyone to take their independence. If you decide to stay in your situation, but don't take your countries to make bases there, because it is your populations who will suffer afterwards, and it is not a good policy. We say it by experience, and I always repeat it. Burkina Faso has been a base to destabilize some countries, and it is not good. Burkina Faso was a base for terrorists here. This is the price we pay to prevent the people of this country, who I speak of, to speak to their leaders and to stop this policy because it doesn't suit them at all. To come in the field of communication and culture, we have launched several initiatives. During the year 2024, you celebrated with us the month of local consumption. We had the traditional days, the month of heritage. Many activities have been carried out. We will continue to bring back our culture because this is where we find our identity. We will continue actions in this direction to enhance our culture, to enhance our customs, and to enhance the life of Burkina Faso. And we wish that everyone is an actor of the emergence of Burkina Faso through his way of communicating. Because everything is also in communication. You have recently followed the communication war that was waged against us, and it continues. It will not stop. And I wish that everyone who is in communication can be professional. When we want to make a communication act, we ask ourselves if it is for the country or against the country before making the act. No matter, you may not love us, my person, you may not love me, but you must love your country. By hurting me, you should not confuse the country. And so politics in the field of communication will have to go in this direction. And we will be forced to frame communication on all aspects. And it is this line of conduct that will be adopted. We will not allow Burkinabés to communicate against Burkina Faso. We will always have to be aware. We must be able to raise awareness so that people understand why we have to fight on all fronts. Returning to the field of agriculture, as you can see, we have launched initiatives since 2023, and this year the offensive has been launched. It is going more or less well. I would like people to understand that we have decided to give a large part of our budget and our time to the agricultural world. Because more than 90% of our population is peasant. But for decades, they have never felt the interest in their public. And that is why we have decided to undertake a number of initiatives that we propose. We would like to be able to work on all the fields of all Burkina Faso peasants, to give them the seeds they need and allow them to have the necessary income to be able to help us in the fight against food insecurity. Because food self-sufficiency is a right. It is in this same sense that we have recently created the National Office for the Development of Hydro-Agricultural Dams. We are going to equip it because everyone is a witness in your different regions that we have retained a lot of dams, but which are sanded and blocked, and we have the possibility to build other dams. We are paying for the equipment for this office so that it can be deployed on the territory, and with the contribution of the population, we are going to be able to build a lot of dams and sand a lot of dams. We are going to continue this fight until we reach food self-sufficiency and that our populations can eat when they are hungry. In the fields of infrastructure, we have a crucial lack of roads. And by doing the analysis, we have found for some roads very old studies, and for others, there are no studies. We cannot build a road without having studies. Studies are pre-allable. That is why in this sector we have ordered the ministry to do a lot of studies on a lot of sections, which will allow us in the future to be able to launch work and do this work well so that it will be sustainable on a lot of sections. For this, we have noticed that the cost to build 1 kilometer of sections are around 500 million francs. So for 100 kilometers, with the sanitary works, we do not have less than 60 billion to build 100 kilometers of roads. It is very expensive and very expensive. The technique has been to create brigades of intervention of infrastructures. We are wanting to equip several brigades with the equipment to do the minimum and to allow the companies of the BTP to live and to play a part. We will share the burden to be able to reduce the expenses and to be able to do the maximum of roads possible. This has already started, and we will continue during these 5 years in this process, so that in all the regions we will be able to rally the maximum of leaders of the provinces, and that we will be able to sell our goods, and that people will be able to move safely. In the field of urbanism, we are in a process to be able to redesign our cities. If you notice, the cities are too big if we take Ouagadougou, but the sanitation infrastructures do not follow. This means that we walk in the mud and we do not have enough sanitation. This creates many diseases that can lead to epidemics. We have a process to be able to concentrate the cities through high-rise buildings. For this, we have a plan that we have established to be able to go from one neighborhood and concentrate the maximum and now extend to other neighborhoods. Certainly, if people are displaced in these neighborhoods, a lot of land will be freed to be able to draw good plans for our cities. We will start with the cities, a certain number of cities, and be able to extend it to all the other cities. Urbanism must be able to lead us to play on the field of health, because if urbanization is well done, there are a good number of diseases such as dengue, cholera, and certain diseases linked to dirty water that stagnate in our streets. We will therefore have a good result in the health field. This brings me to the field of health. We have decided for a long time to raise the technical plateau of a certain number of CHRs to equip certain centers with scanners and devices that can allow citizens to have adequate and low-cost exams. We will continue in this process. This is why we launched the health initiative at the Council of Past Ministers. It will be about creating what we have called community health centers. In these health centers, we have integrated a minimum of services that must be served to the population. It will be about imaging, that is, everything related to ultrasound and radiography, blood banks and laboratories, so that the populations of different provinces and municipalities do not have to move or need an ambulance for a blood transfusion to bring patients to certain centers, which may not happen because of the state of the road. This initiative has already been launched, and we will ensure that we can start before the end of the year the construction of the first centers and their equipment. We will continue this step by step to the limit of our means to be able to give a strong health system to all our populations. We do not want to see someone leave their locality to come to a health center for a radio or for a blood transfusion. So it is quite possible, because I come back to our imperialists who have been begging us for a long time to look at their simple hospitals for their animals, which are more equipped than our health centers. This is not conceivable. We can reach this level, and we have decided to fight to reach this level. The ministry has also been instructed to train the personnel necessary to equip these centers as we put them in place, because it requires committed professionals. And to be more precise, we have noticed that we have quite good doctors taking the example of those who operate the heart. We are therefore accompanying them to be able to have a well-equipped center and allow them to do some heart surgery on site because they have the capacity. We are waiting for their point of situation to be able to help them and support them. Many other specialties have proven themselves, and we will do everything to accompany them. In the initiative, we have also planned reanimation centers in some CHRs that do not have one, because after several operations, Patients often die due to lack of reanimation centers. So it is a hole that we are putting in place to be able to strengthen the health systems. And we are convinced that if the Burkinabés eat to their fill and the urbanization is well done, we have already gained in terms of health on many levels, and we must now accompany them with the equipment. In the field of education, we have made the diagnosis, and as you know, our fellow students are here, and they will not say otherwise. How to leave these damaged buildings and how to rebuild the system? Well, we have come to a conclusion. We have also launched the initiative for quality education. It will integrate all areas from nursery to university. The first buildings will have to be built before the end of the year. We have opted for high-rise buildings to gather as many students as possible on given areas to allow a thorough and judicious control of education, because education is also education. And in the end, we will have complexes in most of our municipalities ranging from nursery to high school and university centers, must also have increased capacity. When we take today our 3-class classrooms, which are built a little everywhere, the rainy season has begun, and the weather has shown us that this is not the right option. This is why we no longer want to build these isolated centers with small houses of 3 rooms, and we will move to high-rise buildings to have as many students in a given space and the consequent framing for a quality education. Many other things will be initiated from primary school. We will return to some fundamental disciplines and therefore establish a certain number of values, to instill in the youngest from primary school so that they are good citizens of tomorrow. There will therefore be a beginning of military training, civic and patriotic at a very young age, to be able to continue in high school. And the national program at the S&D level is changing. The text came to council and we sent it back with amendments so that the workers who are currently active can also go to this center to have a military training, and it will be organized around the world in very specific periods. Everything is a matter of discipline, because by excellence, military training must be able to discipline people. So we are going to instill a certain number of values, AEU plus AEU, at the level of our education. Returning to the University Center before the end of the year, we are going to start the construction of a certain number of amphitheaters, and later, when the means allow it, we will go to the restoration and also the cities at the level of the different university centers. But we will start with the amphitheaters to allow them to have where to work, so that the gap that there is in terms of years that overlap can be considerably reduced. We have made a budgetary regulation that must therefore go to the Assembly this month to be able to initiate all these operations. What does that mean? It means that we have reduced the administration's operating expenses to be able to inject elsewhere, especially in education and health. This program is ready. It has been launched, and in the coming days, you will be witnesses of the evolution of everything that we are telling you. And we will continue this path throughout these 60 months that have been dedicated to us. Returning to the field of mines, as I said earlier, we have adopted a new policy. Burkina is full of many kinds of minerals, but there is still a mineral for which there are no more secrets for Burkina. And I would like to salute our brave miners who managed to enter the depths of our lands to extract this mineral. We have wondered why we should continue to let foreign multinationals come and mine our gold while we know how to exploit it ourselves. This is why we have ordered the ministry to reorganize the gold miners, and the government will take into account the exploitation of gold. Several permits, as I said, will be withdrawn from certain people, and we will exploit it ourselves. We will equip ourselves with a machine to do it. But even if we cannot equip ourselves in a consistent way, our gold miners have shown their courage and dedication. We will dig our own gold, and it will be for us in Burkina. For the other substances where we cannot, and of course our sincere partners who accept to accompany us in this fight, it is only to them that we can grant certain permits, because they have accepted to accompany us in the fight for our sovereignty, in the fight against terrorism. And we have enacted a new code for mining, which is currently in the Assembly, and I hope it will be voted on next week to impose a new model on different companies that will come to exploit gold here, so that the maximum profit is for the state. And in the field of energy, as you have seen, we have serious energy problems. The population growth has not been followed by an energy policy. Today, when the peak of heat arrives, there is permanent waste. Many activities suffer. We are in discussion with partners who are currently even in Burkina to be able to build in the emergency thermal power plants of very high capacity. and we
Voilà
want to
pourquoi
see
nous
with
voulons
them
plus
how we
faire
can
ces
reduce
centres
the construction
isolés
delays.
avec des petites maisons de 3 salles.
The discussion is
Et nous allons
currently on
passer
the
à des
reduction of
constructions à hauteur
construction delays
pour avoir le
and the financial
maximum
model
d'élèves
that we
dans
are
un
going to
espace
put in
donné et
place.
l'encadrement
We hope to
conséquent
achieve
pour
this
une
while
éducation
waiting
de
for our
qualité.
process, which may
Beaucoup
seem
d'autres choses
long,
seront
of
initiées
nuclear
dès le
power
primaire.
plants to see the light of day.
Nous allons
At
revenir
this
à certains
point, we can
fondamentaux
assure
de
you that it is
discipline
going very
et
well,
d'instaurer donc
and
un
we are
certain nombre
trying
de
to set up
valeurs
a
à
unit here,
inculquer aux plus
if
jeunes
I may say, to
depuis le
train
primaire
Burkinabes
pour qu'ils
who
soient de
must
bons
take over,
citoyens de
who
demain.
must follow the entire construction process and take over the
Il y aurait
transfer
donc
of
un
skills.
début de
So it
formation
is going to
militaire, si je
take
peux
a
le dire
fairly
comme ça,
scientific process
civique et
so that we
patriotique
can, in the
au tout
future,
petit,
when the power
pour
plant will
pouvoir
be there in the
continuer
near
dans les
future,
lycées.
have the
Et le
exclusive
programme
property
national
of
donc pour,
Burkinabe, have the
au
Burkinabe
niveau du
engineers
SND est en
own
train
it
de
and
muter.
put it into
Le
operation
texte
to be
était donné
able
en
to
conseil, nous
maintain it.
l'avons renvoyé avec
When the
des amendements
conclusions of the
pour que
discussions
les
with the partners
travailleurs
for
qui
the
sont en
thermal power
activité
plant will come to
actuellement
light,
puissent aussi
we will make it
passer
available.
dans ce
And if we
centre
need you,
pour
we
avoir
will
une
tell you so
formation
that we can
militaire
quickly
et
implement
ça
this
va
plan as
s'organiser
well.
à tour de rôle
Speaking of the
sur des
economy,
périodes
which is
bien
very
précises.
important, we are in the process of setting up a process. The
Tout est
payment
une
of the
question de
internal debt
discipline
has started
parce que
little
par
by little with the
excellence,
smallest
la
debts.
formation militaire doit
The
pouvoir
invoices of
discipliner
less than
les
100
gens.
million have been
Donc
paid,
nous allons
and we are
inculquer un certain nombre
continuing
de
as we go
valeurs au
along
niveau donc
because
de
it
notre
must allow us to
éducation.
relieve the private sector
Revenons
and thus
donc au
be able
centre
to restart the
universitaire.
economy.
Avant aussi la fin de
Currently, we are
l'année,
going to turn
nous allons
quickly to the
commencer la
state
construction d'un
societies.
certain nombre
Their General
d'amphithéâtres.
Assembly has just
Et plus
finished.
tard,
As you have seen,
lorsque les moyens
they
le
are working
permettront,
very well
nous
and they
partirons
have
sur le volet
achieved
donc de
very
la
good results.
restauration
We
et
are going
aussi
to
des
leave the
cités
state
au niveau donc
societies,
des différents
tighten a
centres
little on their
universitaires.
debt,
Mais nous
relieve the
commencerons par les
internal debt, and
amphithéâtres
turn the
pour les
economy.
permettre
So in the
d'avoir
days to
donc
come, if God pleases,
travailler
many
pour que
entrepreneurs
le
will have to be
décalage qu'il y
relieved
a
after
en
the
termes
convention with the state
d'années qui se
societies.
superposent
Thank you very
puisse se
much.
réduire
We are in the
considérablement.
process of taking a
Nous
certain
avons fait une
independence.
régulation
This
budgétaire
must allow us
qui
to have a
doit
good
donc
number
passer à
of
l'Assemblée
resources
ce
in
mois-là
terms of finance,
pour
but
pouvoir donc
also, and
initier
above all,
toutes ces
the sector of
opérations.
industrialization, which
Qu'est-ce que
must
cela
come to
veut
fill
dire?
this
Nous
sector
avons
of the
diminué
economy
les
because
dépenses
we
de
spend a
fonctionnement
lot
de
abroad.
l'administration
We are now
pour
putting in
pouvoir
place
injecter
all the
ailleurs,
processes so that our
notamment dans
currency does
l'éducation
not go
et dans
out.
la santé.
In the meantime, at the level of the state societies, as you have seen,
Ce
we
programme
have decided to set up an investment
donc
bank
est prêt.
and also a sovereign
Il a été
fund.
lancé et dans
The
les jours à
technicians
venir,
are on this
vous
process.
serez
The
témoins
reflection is
de
ongoing,
l'évolution donc de
and we
tout ce
hope
que
in the
nous
near
sommes en train de
future
vous
that they
dire.
will present
Et
something
nous
of
poursuivrons ces
consequence.
schémas
The other
tout au long
strategic
donc,
area that
de
I do
ces
not
60
want to
mois
talk about,
qui nous a
and
été
which you know
consacré.
we are moving forward
Revenons
serenely,
donc
and at the
au
moment it
domaine
will
des
surprise
mines.
you and stay
Je le
tuned.
disais tantôt,
In the
nous avons
area of
adopté une
commerce and
nouvelle politique.
industrialization, we
Le
have also
Burkina
put in
regorge de
place,
beaucoup de
as I told
sortes de
you,
minéraux.
as you can see, we
Mais
have enumerated a good
il y
number
a
of
quand même
products.
un minéral pour le
Hello guys, welcome back to Tasty Reaction once more. Tasty Reaction is my name. Kindly, if you are watching this video for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share and comment. So guys, in today's video is all about Ibrahim Traore. Hope you have watched a very wonderful revolution message from Ibrahim Traore to all Africa, Black America, African, and also direct to Donald Trump. Ibrahim Traore, as we all know that Ibrahim Traore now is a revolutionary leader. He is from Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is the one that has now been the president of Africa because of what he is doing in Africa and also Burkina Faso. He's now been trending all across the internet, across the world. Most of people are talking about Ibrahim Traore because of what? But there are more people. Most of people are talking about the positive things, but others are now talking about the negative things towards Ibrahim Traore. But we all know that Ibrahim Traore is the brave leader and is a fearless leader. He don't fear anything. He just tell you the truth, and the Bible says that the truth will set you free. That's why I love what Ibrahim Traore is doing in Africa and also in Burkina Faso. And Ibrahim Traore is not only speaking for Burkina Faso, but he's speaking in Caribbean, Jamaica, and also Africa and for black people. Because of that, he is the one now being mentioned by each other and has made these people now started targeting Ibrahim Traore for speaking the reality about Africa. So he has sent a warning to Donald Trump that President Donald Trump, please stop bullying we as African, because we as African, we are just the people like you, we're just the human being like you. We were the one who built the United States, because we all know that our people went United States because some of them went through slavery, but others went to look for green pasture, and a lot of brain are being used in United States. And he has said that you guys must respect we as African, because you are using our brain in your country to thrive your economy. So you guys just respect the African and stop bullying our African. Stop these things of racism in your country, and respect all the African and black people who are now living in your country. We know that when Donald Trump came in power, the first thing he did, he deported all immigrants back to their country, and this thing made our Ibrahim Traore being tough to him, make him being anger towards Donald Trump, because these people, they have been using us for so long. They have been stealing our resources to develop the country. Our economy are being funded by our resources in Africa, and we know that Africa is now the richest continent in the world in terms of resources. But it has come a time that we are the poorest, because of what? Because of these leaders, because of this West country, because of this United States. They are using us as a puppet. They are stealing our resources from our country, and this has made our black people suffer in those countries. And this now, it has made Ibrahim Traore waking up and say enough is enough. Stop threatening we as African, because we are the one who are sponsoring you. And he has said that we Africa, another thing is we Africa, we must unite it, and we must love each other. Look what Chinese is doing, look what Indians, Asians is doing. They love each other. Jamaicans must love each other, so that when united, the only enemy that these West countries fear in Africa is the unity, and unity is power. And that is the point that Ibrahim Traore is fighting for. Africa is about the unity. We know that these people, these West countries, are the one that being used to divide us. They have divided us for so long. Do you know that we have no any direct flight from Africa to Caribbean or Jamaica? You must pass through United States when you want to go to Jamaica, and these things must now come to an end. And he has said that, guys, let's build our own continent. Let's love our own Africa, because Africa is the motherland of black people. Because we don't have any continent that we can go, it's only Africa that we can stay here. We love here. We must love our countries. And Ibrahim Traore is the one that's now waking up and telling us the reality that we Africa, we are rich, we are not poor. It is possible. It's possible. We can make it. We can be like this Western country. This West country, they have nothing. They are just depending from us. So we can go far with our own resources. Look what's now happening in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is now the growing country. Their resources are being benefited the people of Burkina Faso. Now the education is free. Everywhere is free. Because of what? Because of the leadership of Ibrahim Traore. So he has come out and he has really defended the interest of Africa, and this interest must now be accommodated by all leaders. And it has just started, and revolution is real, and he has really shown us that revolution is possible. Because sometimes back we think that revolution is impossible, but he has shown us that revolution is now possible, and we can move our country forward without this West country, without interference of those West countries. Because those West countries, they are now united. They united. That's why they divided us, so that we don't united each other. We They divided us so that we don't love each other, and the love have now come out, and Ibrahim Traore is the fearless. He has sent a warning to the Western country to stop bullying we as Africa. Kindly guys, if you are watching this video for the first time, kindly remember to subscribe, like, share and comment. I don't want you to miss any update when I post in this channel. I will be bringing more people in this channel so that we can see how far Africa we are now going, because a lot of people are now talking about Africa and black people. So guys, let's just hit that subscription button, like, share and comment, and let me show your comment section what I can bring more in this channel. Bye for now, and may God bless you so much. Bye.